Hello, students. Today we are going to discuss Chapter 6 of Geography Population. You all know what is the meaning of population, but still we are going to discuss it in detail because there are so many aspects of population. First of all, population is not just the people of a country, they are the human resource. And that's why we should know what is the density of population, what are the factors that affect it, how the population become a resource for a country, because the resources found in nature are nothing until the technology is not used on them. Coal is just a piece of rock until people were able to invent technology to obtain it and make it a resource. There are many other examples of such type of things found in nature, but they were not used until we were not having technology. Natural events like a river flood or tsunami becomes a disaster when it hurts or affects people. Otherwise, they are just natural phenomena. Hence, population is the pivotal element in social studies, and this is the reason why we are reading it. It is the point of reference from which all other elements are observed and from which they derive significance and meaning. You have to study social, environmental, or cultural importance of a country, so it becomes important for you to read the population of that country. So you can say that whether there are natural resources, there are natural calamities or disasters, they all are meaningful only when they have their relation with human beings. Their number means how many people are living in which areas, what is the distribution of the people living there, their growth, how they are growing, and what characteristics or qualities they have. How the population obtain qualities, they obtain qualities through education and good health. Only human being can appreciate all the aspects of environment. Human beings are producers as well as consumers of earth's resources. Therefore, it is important to know how many people are living in which country and in which area they want to live, means they prefer to live in which areas of the world, how and why their number are increasing or decreasing, and what are their characteristics. The census of India also provides us this information regarding the population of our country. What is the meaning of census? A census is an official enumeration of population, means counting of the number of people living in that country, that is done periodically. In India, it is done after every 10 years. In India, the first census was held in the year 1872 when the British rule was there. The first complete census, however, was taken in the year 1881, and after that, it has been done regularly. The Indian census is the most comprehensive source of demographic, means it tells us about the population, it also tells about their social status, and it also collects the economic data, economic status of the people. So now we are going to discuss the population size and distribution. India's population size and distribution by their number. India's population as on March 2001 stood at 1028 million, which accounts for 16.7% of the world population. That is a very big one. And you know, now India is the first country in population, and China has become the second one. These 1.02 billion people are unevenly distributed over our country's vast area. It means it is not that population is same in every state. The hilly areas, the coastal plains, do not have same population because people prefer to live on in the areas which are plain or where agriculture or water facilities are available. The 2001 census data reveals that Uttar Pradesh with a population size of 166 million people is the most populous state of India. Uttar Pradesh accounts for about 16% of India's country's population. On the other hand, the Himalayan state Sikkim has a population of just about zero point 0.5 million and Lakshadweep has only 60,000 people because the people do not want to live in the island areas or the Himalayan region because they are not safe for them. Many facilities are not available there. Now look at figure 6.1. Here we can see the size of population of India with the rest of world and their area. In the first figure, we can see that India has 16.7% population if we compare it with the rest of the world. But if we see at the area, that is just 2.4%. Almost half of India's population lives in just five states, and these are Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, West Bengal, and Andhra Pradesh. You know, there are 28 states in India, but still people want to live in these states. Why? Because these are the industrially developed areas, water supplies is good, and the soil is also fertile. Rajasthan, the biggest state in terms of area, but still it has just 5.5% of the total population of India because it is a desert. In the above passage, we discussed about the population of India with the rest of world in terms of percentage. But if we talk about the population of distribution of population by density, what is it? Population density provides a better picture of the uneven distribution. Population density is calculated as the number of persons per unit area. India is one of the most densely populated countries of the world. Again, look at figure 6.1. If the population is more and the area is less, the people have to live in congested areas. The same area is not distributed according to the population. That's why the density of population of India is more. Only Bangladesh and Japan have higher average population densities than India. Their population is less than India, but they have less area than India. That's why their density becomes more. The population density of India in the year 2001 was 324 persons per square kilometer. Density vary means differs from 904 persons per square kilometer in West Bengal to only 13 persons per square kilometer in Arunachal Pradesh. Note the states with population densities below 250 persons per square kilometer. Why the population is low in these areas? Because the physical features of these areas are not favorable to us and the climatic conditions are also not good. Assam and most of the peninsular states have moderate population densities, means there is not so much high population and not so much low. Hilly areas, dissected areas, and rocky nature of the terrain, moderate to low rainfall, shallow and less fertile soils have influenced population densities in these areas. The northern plains, the most fertile area of India with many rivers that provide fresh water, and Kerala in the south have high to very high population densities. Why? Just because of their flat plains with fertile soils and abundant rainfall. The next topic is population growth and the processes of population change. Population is a dynamic phenomena. The number, distribution, and composition of the population are constantly changing. Means the people may increase or decrease just because of many reasons like epidemics, Distribution may also change, and the composition means their gender. Maybe there are more male than female, or there are more female than men in the country, or this is the influence of the interaction of the three processes. Why the population is changing? There are three reasons for the change in population. And the population will change just because of birth, it will increase, and due to death it may decrease, and it may also change because of the migration of the people from one country to the other country, or the migration may be from rural area to the urban areas. Population growth. Growth of population refers to the change in the number of inhabitants of a country or territory during a specific period of time, means it may be during the last 10 years. Say during the last 10 years, such a change can be expressed in two ways, in terms of absolute numbers and in terms of percentage change per year. It means how much it is changing in percentage and how much in numbers. The absolute numbers added each year or decade, means 10 years, is the magnitude of increase. Means you can calculate yearly or even after 10 years. It is obtained by just subtracting the previous population, means that is of 1991 population in numbers with the population of 2001 in numbers, and you will come to know what is the absolute increase in population, and that will be calculated through census of the country. The rate of or the pace of increase is the other important aspect, because if it is uh, rapidly, it is a matter of great concern for that countries. It is studied in percentage per annum, that is a rate of increase of 2% per annum, means that in a given year there was an increase of 2 persons for every 100 persons, because it is in percentage in the base population, and that is called the annual growth rate. Now I hope you are able to understand what is the difference between absolute increase. Absolute increase is calculated in numbers, and annual growth rate is calculated in percentage. India's population has been steadily increasing from 361 million in 1951 to 1028 million in 2001. The table 6.1, this one, here you can say how much increasing in 10 every 10 years. Table 6.1 and figure 6.4 reveal that from 1951 to 1981, the annual rate of population growth was very high, which explains the rapid increase in population from 361 million in 1951 to 683 million in 1961. But there was a change in the growth rate after 1981. However, the rate of growth started declining gradually. During this period, birth rate declined rapidly. And if the birth rate is decreasing, definitely the rate of growth will also decrease. Still, 182 million people were added to the total population in the 1990s alone. Here, the growth rate has decreased, but still the absolute number is more. Why? Because the population is already very much high, and with the high population, the less growth rate will also increase the population. It is essential to realize that India has a very large population. When a low annual rate is applied to a very large population, means the population is large and the growth rate is low, but still the number is increasing. It yields a large absolute increase. When more than a billion people increase, even at a lower rate, the total numbers being added becomes very large. India's current annual increase in population of 15.5 million is large enough to neutralize efforts to conserve the resource endowment and environment. You can take idea from an example, you have to find out the 2% of 1000, that will be equal to 20. And if you have to find out the 3% of 500, that will be 15. 3% of 500, 3% is more than 2%, but still the answer is lower than the 2% of 1000, that is 20. There is a difference of 5. The same is happening with India. The population is high, the growth rate is low, but still the population is increasing. And you all know that the great population is hindrance in the developmental projects or for the environment of that area, or you can say for the growth of that country. The declining trend of the growth rate is indeed a positive indicator that the government and the people are making efforts for taking control on the birth rate, despite that the total additions to the population base continue to grow, and India may take over China in 2045 to become the most populous country in the world. But unluckily, it has overtaken in 2023. In the next video, we will be discussing about the process of population change or growth, that is through birth rate, death rate, and migration. And I hope the chapter is clear to you. If